Hello, internets! I'm Matt Finish,
And I'm Monster Punter.
and this is Parallax Scrolling, where we give you our perspective on video games and the video game business. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Working a lot, but doing well.
Good. I'm, definitely busy. Life is not as quick as I want it to be, or occupied, whatever.
My job is quickly approaching a busier time of the year, so it has been getting more hectic, but to be expected.
So we're going to have a lot of... We're going to have an exhausted Monster Punter on our hands here coming to some of these... Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Nah, I'll be fine. Used to it.
Okay. Did you have a chance to play anything cool this week?
I've been trying to complete games, really, more than anything else. So, getting closer to the end in Elden Ring, played some Smite again with some friends, and played a little bit of Infernax and Mech Warrior, and I did start playing a little bit of BattleTech on my PC.
Ooh.
So, it's a lot more like the tabletop game, which is pretty fun. I think it's good.
Cool. Are you making any... you said Infernax. Are you making any progress there?
If progress you mean dying a lot, yes.
Well, that's the process of Infernax, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard game. It's a hard game.
So I couldn't figure out where to go, and I needed to think about it. And at that point, I said, no, not going to do it anymore right now, and turned it off. So
How many mansions have you cleared?
2? Yeah, I think 2.
Okay, so you got the brick breaking ability. And
yes.
You got... I forget what the second one gives you. Actually, I think the second one gives you the brick breaking ability.
Yeah, that's the second one. I don't remember what the first one is.
So what you need to do is go back down, start making your way back like you're going to go to the first town. But there is a point where you make if you make a right, you'll see a bunch of walls, a bunch of skeletons murdering guards and stuff, but you'll see a wall that you can break with the bricks that takes you to the next town.
Okay.
Also, side note, if you go, I think it's that same level on the map, since everything's vertical, it's a vertical map, because it's Metroidvania. What are you gonna do? But if you go all the way to the left, there's also another brick wall. As you're on your way back to the town, you break through that wall, and there's a house. Go in the house, and this lady's like, "Hey, there's something in my basement. I don't know what it is, but if you kill it, I'll teach you something cool." And she gives you a really powerful ability.
Okay.
So, and that fight requires you to have that ability, because you need to be able to... It breaks bricks, but it also allows you to reflect projectiles. And that's the only way you can beat that boss, is by reflecting projectiles. So.
Okay.
Little tip and trick for all you at home. Get that one early. As for me, I've actually... I've played some... I've finished up some games. I've started up some new ones. I finished that Micetopia game that I was talking about last week. And you know what? Not a terrible beginning Metroidvania. But it's really not a Metroidvania. You only get 3 hits the entire time. You don't get an energy bar to increase, anything like that. It's very bare bones as a Metroid game. In fact, when I beat the game, I didn't know I beat the game. I just stumbled upon the boss, killed it, and I was like, oh, that's it. There is a story in the game, but it doesn't reveal itself. You have to find it by talking to the people. And if you don't bother to talk to people, you're just running around killing stuff. It's just... It needed a lot more polish and work, but for what it was fine. And do I regret paying $2? No. If I'd paid more than $2, I probably would have been a little peeved. Not gonna lie.
That PlayStation Summer Sale has lots of good stuff on it right now.
It does. It has some great stuff. I just found out I have to pick it up, but Monster Sanctuary is $7 right now. And I've had the demo on my computer, and I've been waiting for a good sale on PC. I might just pick it up on PlayStation now because it's $7. But that's a great game. That's literally, hey, let's take Metroid and add Pokemon. So you capture the monsters and then you fight with them in your RPG party. It's really a cool concept.
I picked up Panzer Dragoon remake for $2.50, and it's amazing. I love that game from my Sega Saturn, and if you can get past the older style controls with it, because it does come from the Sega Saturn, a time period before analog sticks.
Wait, what is this time before analog sticks? I didn't think this existed.
Listen, the Atari 2600 controller was not an analog stick.
You just twist the knob.
That was the we always called them paddles, but your traditional arcade joystick that you had for that was not an analog stick either. Honestly, I wonder if the 5200 controller was more analog.
Maybe.
I think it might have been, but I don't know.
I think the Intellivision probably had a better controller in that. I think that was more analog, wasn't it?
I heard the Vectrex.
You know what? You might be right.
I think the Vectrex actually had an analog stick. Yeah, because I was watching something where someone plugged in a Sega Genesis controller, I think, for it.
Okay.
And some of the games don't work with it because they require the analog sensitivity.
Interesting.
I want a Vectrex.
So, okay, get back so we can move forward. Got to get back. I played Mystopia, beat that. That was okay. I've still been going through Rise Eterna.
I did play a little bit of that too. I forgot to mention it.
That game is. You are not the heroes. You are not heroes. But man, I wish I knew what I was.
I come to this conclusion that I'm glad the game was only $2, because if I paid more than $2 for it, I'd be kind of mad.
Yeah, I'm at that point too, because there's a lot that needs to be explained that isn't explained in the game mechanics.
I would call it a 5 out of 10 game that is worth $2. Maybe it'll be worth playing all the way through, but I'm on the fence.
I don't know if I'd say 5 out of 10. I would say 7 out of 10. Just because, for me, the story's not really the reason you're playing the game, and the combat mechanics are solid. What I understand is good, but it's just everything else. I'm kind of like, I don't understand. Just help me understand, please. But did all that, and then I've done something I haven't done in a long time. I literally bought a game after watching the trailer. So, Tuesday, I'm going to date the video a little bit. Tuesday the 26th, I'm sitting there, and I was actually going across the Steam page, and this game appeared in my discovery queue. And I was like, okay, well, what's this? Let me watch it and see what's going on. And it's like, oh, it's an action RPG. Cool, I like action RPGs. Let me, take a look at it. And it just looked amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, when's this come out? This comes out today. And I was watching the trailer at I think 10:30 in the morning, and the game was supposed to relaunch at 11. And I was like, well, I guess I'm picking this up. And it was like, how much is it? $25? Sure. And so I bought The Tarnishing of Juxtia. And I'm like, this looks awesome. I have to record this. So I started recording it, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. Plug.
You do what you gotta do, man.
But no, I'm actually playing through it on my channel. I've already recorded 6 episodes at this point. I've gone through 2 areas, and this game is just so cool. It's a Souls Troid. I say it like that because it's not so much a Castlevania game in any respect, not like Symphony of the Night, or where you just, they dropped an item, random enemy dropped an item, let me pick it up and use it. It's more like, these guys dropped something, can I wear it, and can I use the stats for it? Cool. Okay, let me pick up this sword. Okay, what's the scaling? There's weapon scaling and stat scaling on the weapons, like Dark Souls. And then the leveling up system is like Dark Souls. You defeat enemies, you get your experience, and your experience is your currency and your leveling up mechanic. So you adjust your stats accordingly, and you build your character the way you want. And it's just good. Like, it's not 100% like Dark Souls, and I like that. It's not 100% like Metroid, and I like that. It is its own thing. It's really well done.
I'm thinking about buying Bright Memory Infinite.
Bright Memory Infinite.
It's a first-person shooter or first-person game, but I watched the trailer for that, and it's a $20 game that looks like a $60 game.
It sounds familiar. I'm gonna hit the internet here, folks. Give me a second.
Like the voice acting in that seems like it's a little subpar, but it actually looks really, really good. And so I'm thinking I'm going to try that out here this next week.
I think I've seen this. Yes, yes, I have. You are right. This game looks dope.
And I was shocked that it's a $20 game. So,
and it came out over 3 years ago?
Yeah,
because it came out on the January 12th.
Yeah, it's probably been on PC for a while. That might be why it's $20 then.
It might be. But I'm surprised I haven't heard of it. I think that's the thing, is there's a lot of games out there that are very cool that we just don't know of. We don't hear them. We don't hear about them. They don't get hyped up like a lot of other things. But yeah. So that looks really cool. That looks like something fun. Okay. News time. That fun time. That news time. Put music behind that, folks. You can do that. I leave that to the community. We'll have ourselves a little segment intro now. Just me all monotone news.
Doesn't sound entertaining at all.
I know, but it sounds fun to me.
Stop it.
To make people do it.
Stop it.
Anyhow, so we actually got some stuff we want to talk about today. One like really big story, and then a whole bunch of other. Well, this is kind of interesting. So let's start with one interesting, and then we'll go to the big whammy. I don't know if everyone's seen this yet, because some people don't watch. They don't pay attention to Reddit. They don't pay attention to a lot of other things going on the internet other than us. Thank you, by the way. But there was a potential hoax for Nier Automata that was done within like the past week or so, and it's very interesting. So the whole concept is this: somebody posted on Reddit, "Hey, how did you get into this particular building?" And people were like, "Well, what are you talking about? You can't get into that building." And then this user posted video of them opening a door that existed out of nowhere, leading into this really funky hallway that led them into a church. And it's fully texturized. It has references to the other Nier games. Within it, there is apparently, from what I heard, a chest that only a certain character can open. It's really interesting, the video, because it's got a cutscene, it's got a whole bunch of information. People are trying to call it a hoax. Some people are saying this may not be a hoax because of how elaborate the cutscene and in the room looks. And it's just, I encourage you, dear listener, to go look this up. It looks like a pretty cool concept, and if it is real, tell me how to get in. I want to know. Find out. Because I want to experience it for myself. It looks like that. It looks like an experience I want to have. Just from watching that video, like I want to be able to walk in that room myself and take a look around inside the church. And because people have been pointing out that there is old maps that show the imagery of the outside of the church, but nothing shows the inside of the church. People are saying that modders can't make something that intricate in Nier yet, so nobody knows what's going on.
Well, the modders, the modding community is not very robust. It's not
right.
Skyrim.
Right. So, but it made me wonder a couple things. The big thing being, this one user's been posting all this stuff. Who is to say that this person posted. We don't know the identity of the poster. We have a username. But who's to say that this person is not actually the developer of the Nier series, and he's just making a teaser for something that's about to happen? Apparently, there is a Switch port coming for Nier Automata to Switch. Obviously it's Switch, but it's coming out in October. So it could be just he's making a plug video for that. He, as someone we were watching the video, they did their own take on it. They said it could also be that the developer was just that inventive and literally put the coding into one copy of the game to do that and decided to mess with everybody else by not giving them that copy.
I think it's been blown way too out of proportion. When I saw the article, I was like, okay, what are we really doing here? It doesn't...
Right.
I mean, I played Nier Automata. I think it's a decent game.
I loved it.
I couldn't play it all the way through. I lost interest in it. So when I saw this article, it was kind of... okay, kind of interesting, but...
Okay.
But I can see why people would be really into it.
I mean, I went all the way through. I went all the way through, and I got to experience the hardest final boss in any video game ever, and that's the credits. Because you actually have to fight the credits, and you can actually get, like, if you're playing online, you actually get assistance from other people to help you fight the credits, to help you get to the true ending. And then you have the opportunity at the very end, because I don't think this is a spoiler at this point. This game's been out a while. You have the opportunity, once you beat the credits, to sacrifice your save file to create a helper that will help other people in the future defeat the credits. So it's like, yeah, somebody helped you get to the true ending of the game. Do you want to help somebody else get to the true ending of the game? I said no, because I wanted to go back, because there's literally an ending. I don't know if you knew this. There's an ending for every letter of the alphabet.
That's a lot of work right there.
26 endings. And I was like, no, I'm not going to destroy my save file, because I may actually go back and try this one day.
By the way, you're completely wrong about the hardest ending ever. That unceremoniously goes to either an SNK final fight, boss fight. You oh my gosh.
Oh, I've
Rage.
Yeah.
You end up having to resort to cheap, like, tactics where you just crouch kick the whole time. There's no skill whatsoever. And stupid tactics like that work. Or two, the end of Legend of Zelda, The Adventure of Link on the Nintendo. Shadow Link was a pain in the butt.
That's because you don't know how to fight that guy.
Whatever, man. That dude was tough.
You go into the lower left side of the screen, you crouch, and you just keep stabbing, and you kill him.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as the SNK boss. You have to do something stupid to win. You can't just straight up fight.
Guess what? You don't have that option in your Automata. And you're fighting the credits. The words on the screen are trying to kill you. Yeah. Alright? This is a whole other level.
We're going to disagree on this one.
Well, you have yet to experience...
That's okay.
You said you put down the game, so you didn't get to experience this. I'm telling you, that fight is really stinking hard. Anyways.
Listen, I was assaulted by words enough in school. I have no interest of going to this ending all of a sudden.
I've been assaulted by words in life. At this point, I have to build up an immunity almost. Anyhow.
So that's too many English classes.
So that's the first story. Let's get that out of the way. Here's the big one. Video gamers rejoice and unite. As of the 27th, I believe it's the 27th now, the Oxford University research team posted, or at least the Oxford University website posted an article done by the Royal Society of Science. So try and throw those links in the description. Editor man, I'm going to give you those links. Please put them in. So the study finds, hey, video games aren't bad for your brain. There was a study conducted over 6 weeks by the research team. They monitored over 40,000 gamers and recorded their play times. And it was between like half an hour and 10 hours of what the game time was for most people. The games ranged from like easy, take it easy kind of games like Animal Crossing. I don't know if that's take it easy. I'm sorry, Animal Crossing fans, don't hate me. Animal Crossing New Horizons, all the way up to like very much more intensive games like Apex Legends and Spreadsheet Simulator, aka EVE Online. If you've ever seen a video of somebody playing, it's crazy. But so that
you'll never catch me playing EVE Online. By the way, there's no way I can't do it. There's too much real money to be lost if you lose a ship in that game. Everything's convertible to real money. I think they had one fight in that game where $36,000 was lost, and no way. Anyway, go ahead.
But what the research found was they found no casual link between gaming and poor mental health. Professor Andrew Shabilsky, I believe I'm saying that right, was quoted as saying, it wasn't the quantity of gaming, but the quality that counted. If they felt they had to play, people felt worse. If they played because they loved it, then it didn't suggest that the data did not suggest it affected their mental health. So, rejoice in your video gaming. Be happy. If you're playing because you want to, it's a good sign. But if you're playing because you have to, you're a content creator. Sorry. little salty. No, but if you're playing because you feel like you have to, then, you know, as we said before, but jokingly with other content, but seriously, if you're playing video games because you feel you have to, it might not be a bad idea to get some help. Seek out some additional resources, get some help.
Everything in moderation. There's been plenty of examples where video gaming can be bad for you. It's not a coincidence that all your MMOs have warnings about how much you play.
Well, so. And like the story about the one WoW player who was in that internet cafe. The guy went up to check on him, and the guy had died because he had just been sitting there playing WoW the entire time.
I forget what the medical condition you suffer is, but if you are
blood clot. He got blood clots in his legs.
Was it blood clots? Okay. Either way, he's not the first one to die. There's been marathon sessions of other games like StarCraft, even in internet cafes in Korea, for instance, where people have gone and died. So, I mean, that's kind of extreme compared to what we're talking about here, but... Yeah.
But that's when you get up and you take a break, you stretch your legs, and you go back to gaming. Quick regarding that story, what's the sadder fact? The fact that the man died while playing the video game, or the fact that the internet cafe guy kept charging him while he was dead? He kept racking up the bill. He never checked on the guy.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, right, but you figure, hey, this guy's been sitting at this computer for 17 hours. Perhaps I should go check, see if he's,
That could be a normal thing over there.
But that's the point. It shouldn't be.
Well,
so
as a business owner, you're kind of trying to make money. So, I mean, and then if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know it's going to be dangerous for someone to play that long, then why would you criticize them or try to kick them out if you're a business owner?
Well, I didn't say criticize or kick them out. I said go up and check on them.
Yeah.
You should at least, sir, do you need more time? Do you need less time? Would you like something to drink? Provide service for your customer and find out, this person's not responding because he died. There's a point where, yes, you're making a business, but you got human beings to take care of.
But the fact of the matter is, if you play it in moderation, you are engaged. Your brain is occupied. It is doing something. It is good for you to keep your brain engaged. And that's not the first study that's found something like that. There's been others in the past.
Right. And they've also said that they're not fully done with the study either. They're going to keep going. They have not tested, like I said, they test between half an hour and 10 hours of game time. They have not tested 0 hours versus over 10 hours. They haven't tested those people.
Yeah, there's been other studies. I think it's notable that this one had 40,000 participants, so the sample size is more significant.
We do have to say, when we say participants, these people voluntarily gave their gaming data over to the researchers. That's something to keep in mind.
But either way, this is not the first time that beneficial effects from video games have been shown in a study. Right. The National Institute on Aging has had articles in the past that show elderly people between 60 and 80 who play video games have improved mental capacity or remember things better after playing video games. Yeah. If you think about what those people in those age ranges are usually doing, I know when I look at my dad, my mom reads a ton, but my dad watches TV all the time. Yeah. I think your parents watch TV all the time. Yep. My grandparents, both sets of them, used to do that all the time. Watching TV in that is a very passive form of entertainment. You are just consuming content. You're not engaged in creating any of the content at all. Video games
are an interactive art form.
Yeah, so when you're sitting back not really doing anything, yeah, I think that's one of the... If you're susceptible, if you have the genetic makeup that makes you susceptible to Alzheimer's, that playing video games can help push that off into the future, if not indefinitely.
Right. Plus, I mean, let's face it, when we get old enough and we get thrown into retirement homes, we're probably building a LAN party in our retirement home or retirement community. We're going to have 50,000 computers hooked up, and we're going to be yelling at each other. And we're going to be playing, like, I don't know, some first-person shooter. Somebody's going to be like, hey, watch where you're shooting. And don't blame me, it's the Parkinson's.
Whatever, I'm going to have a Nerf gun. I'm going to get everybody.
Well, you're going to have that, too. But I'm just saying,
whatever, man. It's going to... I think be the wheelchair bandit, roll around and shoot people and go. I'll have my family bring me new darts and stuff every now and again.
Yeah, I'm sure your family would do that.
They would.
Yeah, no.
They would. No.
But no, I think
I would shoot you the most.
Yeah.
You would have a great assortment of Nerf darts after a time.
Yep. Yep. And I wouldn't give them back.
That's fine. I got money.
But no, seriously, I do think that's going to happen. Is you're going to get to that point now because the LAN playing generation is going to start going into retirement. Going to start going into retirement communities, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you do walk into like somebody who wants to do like community service. That's the word I was looking for. Someone wants to do community service. They walk in and they see like 10, 20 people all playing StarCraft. And they're all hunched over at the computer playing. I don't see it being a problem. I think that's a great thing.
Well, the average age of the gamer keeps getting older and older because, let's face it, younger generations are more likely to play video games nowadays and take that with them as they get older.
Right.
The millennials were much more so than the
Gen Xers.
The Gen Xers. Even though the Gen Xers were really the first ones to have video games as a part of their childhood, or possibly as part of their childhood.
Right.
Considering, not that it mattered much, but the first generation of video games actually dates back to 1972 with the Magnavox Odyssey, which was, let's just face it, I looked at some of those games, they can hardly be called games.
Actually, I'm going to push up my glasses here. Actually, the first video game goes back to the supercomputer that played Pong.
Oh, no, it wasn't Pong. It was Space War. But I'm talking about... that's the actual first video game is Space War.
I know.
But I'm talking about home consoles.
Yeah.
The first home console was the Magnavox Odyssey.
Right.
And,
followed by ColecoVision and Television, Atari.
Atari first, and then all the other ones.
Well, but there was in that era.
I think there was a Magnavox Odyssey 2 in 75-ish or something like that.
There.
But video games as we know it didn't really start until, coincidentally enough, I can't remember which one came first. It was either the Atari 2600 or the Fairchild Channel F. But I think it might be the Fairchild. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think you're right. I think it is the Fairchild, I think.
And they both used cartridges and ushered in an era that is what we know today.
Video game historians, for those of you listening who actually do know the answer, please tell us in the comments. Is it the Fairchild or is it the 2600 first? We really do want to know. But yeah, it grew from there, and like we're the generation of, if you played video games, you were nerds and not really cool, even though people played video games and didn't tell anybody. It was like a secret underground art club, art form. Like, oh yeah, don't tell nobody. But yeah, if you were openly like, I beat Super Mario blindfolded, be like, nerd, and then you get a swirly or something.
Speaking of which, someone actually did just set a new world record for Super Mario 64 blindfolded.
64 blindfolded?
All 120 stars.
Jeez.
And anyway, that's as much as I want to talk about that, because that's disgusting.
That is disgusting. Impressive, but disgusting. But yeah, so video games are good for your mental health. Just don't rely on them, and don't, take breaks, stretch your legs, have a good time. Do something else, like listen to a podcast about video games. Who knows?
Ooh.
I'm just going to shamelessly plug us every once in a while because it's fun. But beyond that, that's pretty much the main meal of this podcast. But we got a couple other stories for you. Monster, why don't you go ahead and talk about, you talked about PS5 getting a what?
These are more like bite-sized news and things that I just want to bring to people's attention. Sony announces a better PS5 visuals in relation to computer monitors. There are plenty of gamers out there today who play on computer monitors instead of a traditional TV. And
right.
Sony's traditionally, they've been a TV manufacturer, so their game consoles, understandably so, have more been geared toward those TV standards. TV standards being 720p, 1080p, 4K. So those are typically what Sony's consoles have supported.
Right.
Not 1440p, which is exactly between 1080p and 4K. You can think of it as like 2K. That's been the space of the PC forever. And now, as a lot of people opt to have monitors and not even have TVs anymore, it's really important for Sony to support that mode. And I think it's really good that they support it. They're also doing some things like letting you set up folders so you can put similar games together, whatever the case may be, things like that. And that's all going to be in beta here pretty soon. Now,
is this going to be for the new PS5s, or can old PS5s get this?
It's a firmware update.
Okay, so it's going to be for the old system. That's good.
Eventually, everybody. Well, it's for PS5. It's not for PS4 or PS4 Pro. It's PS5.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is they're not saying like the PS5 Pro now plays 1440. It's going to be for all the PS5s.
They haven't even announced a PS5 Pro yet.
That's what I'm saying, though. That could be the. That's why I was asking: is it going to be for all the systems, or are they going to release a new system and it's only good for that? So it's good to know.
So yeah, that's one thing. Another thing that Sony's doing is they're making a backbone controller for the iPhone. So
which is cool.
For the iPhone users out there, it kind of looks like a PS5 controller, and it has the traditional square, triangle, X and O on the side. The D-pad looks better, by the way. I like this D-pad on this better than the PlayStation regular D-pad. I'd rather have this.
Well, let's be honest though. It looks like a Switch controller.
It's a white Switch controller.
But it looks like a Switch controller.
But the biggest thing, the only reason I even bring this up is it has the off-center joysticks, where one is above the D-pad and the other one is below the buttons.
Like the Switch.
Like the Xbox first did it.
Oh, yeah.
The Duke controller, that monstrosity way back on the day.
Oh, why'd you say that? Anyway.
There's some people who would love that controller, and if you're not aware, they brought it back not too long ago. So the people who have big honking hands, people like Shaquille O'Neal, their big meaty mitts, they love that thing. So, but I thought it was really...
Are you saying Shaquille O'Neal enjoys playing with an Xbox controller? You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I'm just saying, people that have big meaty hands, they like that thing. But this thing is $99.99, which is a tough pill to swallow. Although it's an iPhone accessory, and iPhones are expensive in general.
But the one thing, like if you look at the photo, is it shows remote play being on the screen of the phone. I think that's the big thing. Is this is intended for you to take remote play on the go with your iPhone, so you can continue to play your PS5 games from your phone. I think that's really cool.
I hope they get this set up for the Android users as well. But I just found it really interesting that they had offsetting analog sticks when I've never seen them make those before. Yeah. And for someone like me who actually sometimes has trouble with the off-centered sticks because of my thumb, I get shooting pains through my thumb sometimes. Sony's solution, where both of them are down and centered, I've never had trouble with that before. So, I mean, I like my Xbox well and good, but there's times where I can't really play it for long game sessions. And the Switch, if I try to play it in handheld mode for any significant period of time, my hands get cramped up and my thumb hurts and things like that. That's why my Switch is primarily just a game console. It just sits in its dock basically 99% of its time.
Okay. So speaking of Sony, so we get two double Sony stories, let's get a third Sony story. There was an article that came out, I believe this week, with the former Eidos Montreal founder, hope I say his name right, Stéphane Diastus. And in this interview he did with GameIndustry.biz, and I found my information off of archive.com, so sources. He talks about how the collapse of Squaresoft and the whole selling off of Eidos and
to the
all those other countries to Embracer Group. Yeah, about why they all got sold off. All the Western studios got sold off. And he posited a theory that I thought was pretty interesting. It basically stated that the head of Square Enix Japan was wanting to get rid of the Western studios because Sony was eyeing them as a purchase, but did not want the Western studios. So the CEO or whoever's in charge of Square Enix said, "Oh, you don't like that? It's gone." Yeah. So that's kind of the current running theory, and I think that's interesting. I think that's like, if that's the case, and then Sony does buy Square Enix, well, that's awesome. Like, awesome in the same sense that Microsoft might be buying Activision Blizzard. Like, it's obviously like drawing lines in the sand, sort of, for people. Again, like the console wars might like re-escalate, but I also see that as a greater opportunity for Square Enix to do what Square Enix does without having to worry about like focusing on the overhead too much. They get to focus more on just making the games and making these stellar RPGs and whatnot. So that's just a possible theory.
So
we'll kind of see how that plays out.
That rumor's been going around for a little while now, and it's possible that Sony will be buying Square Enix.
Yeah.
If they do buy Square Enix, let me tell you, I guess I'm okay with it, but the gaming industry in general, what it's also doing, and people that I've talked to or seen about with all these acquisitions, is the barrier to entry is getting greater and greater. So think about this. When you think about another video game console,
mm-hmm.
who do you think is going to make it? You're going to think Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. You can't, if anybody wants to come in and compete with them, the barrier to entry is so high right now. Because you're going to have to convince people to make games for you. But all those development houses have been swallowed up. They're not going to make games for you.
Right.
And what does that leave you? It leaves that this has been rumored for a little while too, but maybe somebody only like Apple has the financial wherewithal to really step in and possibly compete in this space.
The iGame, now $47,000.
Comes with -5 games.
-5. You have to give us 5 games from your other systems in order to play. Well, to kind of quickly wrap this one up, but if you kind of look at the history of gaming, you look at the titans of the industry. For the longest time, it was Atari, and maybe and then slowly became Atari, Sega, Nintendo, and then eventually just became Sega, Nintendo, and then it became Sony, Sega, Nintendo. You had that for a while, and then you had Sony, Sega, Nintendo, Microsoft, and then Sega fell off. And then you had Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and it's been like that for a long time. Just been those three. So who knows? At this point, anything's possible.
But I mean, think about some of those other systems that have come out since 2000, essentially, when it's just been those three. There was some Android consoles that tried to compete. There's also been
Google Stadia,
which, do I really want to count that? No, I would. Okay, fine.
I would say Google trying to get in is a thing to consider.
They could still get into the console game if they wanted.
Exactly.
But also, there was those Android consoles like the Ouya. There's also the Atari VCS that has come out that who knows what they're really competing with. And they came out, in my opinion, too expensive. At $400 for it, for what you're getting.
Oh, and I do have to apologize, a quick backtrack. There was a point where it was Nintendo, Sega, and the Turbo Graphics, but that didn't last long. So, anyways, go forward.
So, since then, there's been this handful of consoles, and there's going to be maybe another console with an Intellivision Amico, but that's been mired in some controversy and may not ever release. So,
right.
The barriers are so dramatically high.
Possibly, but I think, again, you never know. There's always an upset.
Yeah.
But, all right. We need to start wrapping up because
I got one more.
We're quite lengthy, but I wanted to end with this last story because you were very, very eager to tell me this story. So, take it away, Monster.
So, there was somebody, Bjorn the Bear, who decided it would be a good idea to pit every monster in Elden Ring against each other in winner takes all. Big team battle, they're all fighting each other. And the winner was the Turtle Pope. The Turtle Pope who did nothing. He practiced peace.
Pacifism wins.
Pacifism wins Elden Ring. Just remember that now.
Yeah. There was who was it? YouTuber Krendor. Krendor, when the game came out, he started streaming. He didn't fight a single thing. He just did pacifist mode. He got on his horse and just rode places. and he experienced the entire world of Elden Ring without ever fighting.
That's a lot of running, though.
Well, yeah, but you're just experiencing the world. You're just like, okay, that's a cool building. That's a cool tree. That's a cool, That's impressive.
Not as impressive as the Turtle Pope, though.
I don't know. But anyways, talk to me more about this Turtle Pope. Give me the deets.
Well, that's really all there is to it. They had a big fight that would...
So Mater came in, grabbed all the...
Yeah.
No, it's just the animal enemies, right?
Yeah, the animal enemies.
Okay, yeah, so it's not like the knights and stuff.
We're talking about the dragons and everything, too.
Well, dragons are considered animals. But, anyways, so grabbed them all and threw them in. Now, I'm surprised Turtle Pope won only for one reason. The giant ancient dragon in Caelid. The one that doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything either. Yet, he roars once in a while. And when he roars, his 5 children go Super Saiyan and start, cleaning house. So there's 5 little baby dragons that operate for this one massive dragon. I'm surprised that guy didn't win.
Well...
Unless he didn't get put in.
Obvious answer is obvious. He doesn't have a Pope hat.
It's gotta be the Pope hat. It's gotta be the Pope hat!
Yeah. Who doesn't like turtles with a little Pope hat?
I mean...
If you don't like turtles with Pope hats, you need to reevaluate your life.
Okay, first off, I don't think I would say a little turtle with a Pope hat. This dude is pretty...
Okay, he's a really big turtle.
He's massive,
He's a big turtle with a human-sized Pope hat.
No.
Okay, he's not that big. But...
No. He's way bigger than that, and so is that hat. And it's not a human-sized hat. That's a big hat. You can't wear it. Anyways, I think that's enough for us. We're coming up on 50 minutes here. We're running up on an hour. So, this is a bit of a lengthy one, but you know what? Spoilers. Next week's going to be longer.
We'll see about that.
Oh, it is. It's going to be longer. We're going to talk about something that's not news related. We're going to talk about our top 10 JRPGs. Each of us is going to pick 10 games, and we're going to talk about them and defend our points. So, tune in. And please, do me a favor. You don't do it for this episode. Do it for next episode when we actually do the list. Drop your top 10 RPGs, JRPGs. You gotta be the JRPGs, because we'll do Western at a later date. But give us the top 10 JRPGs in your mind. The only requirements are you've got to play the game, and it actually has to have come out. Obviously, if you played it, it's already come out. Should have said that backwards. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Game has to have come out, so you can't be like, Final Fantasy 16! It hasn't come out yet. But give us your top 10 JRPGs that you've played, that have come out. Let us know in the next episode. This episode, let us know what you thought about any of the comments we've had, any of the stories we talked about today. Tell us you like Turtle Pulp. We don't, smooth jazz Turtle Pulp. I think that's gonna be a thing too. So, anyways, I think we've gone on long enough. Let's wrap it up here. Thank you guys so very much for watching. We do appreciate you. We do appreciate you giving us your time and listening. We are very grateful to have this opportunity to do something like this, and we want to keep doing it. So if you could, please support us. Like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever's required for the platform you're listening on. We definitely appreciate that. And if you want to help us out even further, you can check out my content over on my channel, Matt Finish. Still gotta change that name. Anyways, check it out over there. I am going through the tarnishing of Juxtia right now, so you guys can watch that and get an idea if the game's for you or not. And Monster's still working on getting set up on the internet himself. And we'll get there, and we'll have more stuff to do in the future. But for now, for me...
and Monster Punter.
Thank you guys so very much for listening. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.
Later.